The Denver Nuggets win Game 5, 94-89 to clinch their first NBA title in franchise history. Nikola Jokic gets his first, solidifying him amongst some of the greatest players to ever play in the NBA. I'm not going to break down Game 5 a ton. Really ugly game, really physical game. Jokic got tied up several times there. Great Kyle Lowry game, just flopping and grabbing guys and getting away with it. Also hit some big shots, hit 4 threes, had 9 rebounds. Just, like I said, a great Kyle Lowry game. Jimmy Butler struggled again, 5 of 18 from the floor. Bam Adebayo scored 18 points in the first half. Only scored 2 in the second half. Just a lack of aggression from him. And there was no outstanding Heat role player. And, the thing that Miami leaned on through the entire playoffs was having a random role player show up, whether that was Gabe Vincent or Caleb Martin or Kyle Lowry, somebody going and getting like 18 to 23. When that happened, Miami won, right? Because they just took the best offensive team in the NBA. And, there was no huge game from Denver. I mean, they scored 111 in Game 2, and that's the most that they scored, which is low for a team with, Jokic and Murray and Porter and Bruce Brown, and Christian Brown was big in this series, and Aaron Gordon, like a bunch of guys who can really score the basketball. I thought that the defense that they played throughout the series was outstanding, but ultimately, they just didn't score enough. It's really hard to win any games, let alone an NBA Finals, when you're incapable of scoring 118 points a night, especially with the way that the NBA is now. And they didn't shoot it very well. They shot 25% from 3 tonight. Neither team really shot it very well. Denver didn't shoot it well the whole series. They shot 18% from 3 tonight. Missed almost half of their free throws. I mean, I don't know how Denver won this game. The defense was outstanding, especially since Aaron Gordon only played 7 minutes in the first half due to foul trouble. And that is really where I think Miami lost this game. It was in the first half. They had an opportunity to come out and really kind of assert themselves, right? Jokic goes out, in the first quarter with the second foul, and just like Game 3 or Game 4, right? The Nuggets had this 5-minute stretch with Jokic off the floor that was pivotal, and they only lost by 1. And the same thing happens here. They have this, 3-minute stretch, absolutely pivotal. What are they going to do with Jokic off the floor? They're not shooting the ball well. What's going to happen? And they just weathered the storm. I think they outscored them by 3, in those 3 minutes. And if you're Miami, you have to win those stretches. And, the second quarter was, a lot of the same. Aaron Gordon misses a lot of it, picking up his third foul. Jokic misses, the first little bit of it because he has 2. And the Nuggets just kind of weathered the storm when Jokic was off the floor. And then in the third and fourth quarter, Jokic stayed out of foul trouble, and they outscore him by 10 points or by 12 points in the second half as they go on to win 94-89. In the minutes that Jokic did play, I mean, he was just everything that he's been the entire playoffs. Just incredibly efficient, found open teammates, even though he did only have 4 assists. But 28 points in 42 minutes, 12 of 16 from the floor, 16 rebounds, really dominated the glass. Speaking of dominating the glass, Michael Porter Jr., 13 rebounds. It's important to be able to impact the game in multiple ways besides just scoring, and that is something that we've seen Michael Porter Jr. really develop in. We've seen it happen throughout this entire playoff run. The rebounding was up. The defense was not great, but better. I mean, he really impacted the game. He finished with 16 points tonight. I thought he did a good job getting downhill, getting to the rim. He took 11 shots from inside the arc, which is a good thing for him. Aaron Gordon continues to play great defense, and he pulled down 7 rebounds. Jamal Murray hit a couple big shots. Only had 14 points, but he had 8 assists again. He had 8+ assists. That's his lowest. That's the lowest amount of assists he's had in a game. The playmaking from Jamal Murray in the NBA Finals was top tier. It was incredible to watch. Bruce Brown, 10 points. Grabbed a few big rebounds. Was just always in the right spot. I mean, look, this Denver Nuggets team they're really good. The regular season record, only winning 53 games. There's going to be a lack of respect for them, but because of the lack of wins in the regular season and, they played a play-in team in the NBA Finals and things like that, but this is one of the better teams we've seen in these past 3 or 4 years. I think they're really good. The defense I thought was really good. But yeah, so what does this mean in terms of, actually, before I get into all-time stuff, I want to say this about Jimmy Butler. Because people are they should rip him because he wasn't very good in these NBA finals. And maybe they shouldn't rip him, but there should definitely be this question raised as of why wasn't Jimmy Butler as good in the finals as he was in the Eastern Conference Finals, or in the second round, or in the first round, or like why wasn't he as good? And ultimately, I think he ran out of gas. That's what I think. Because against Milwaukee, he had to be great every single second he was on the floor in order for them to win that series. He got some time off against the Knicks. He rolled his ankle, and people are probably going to point to that, but I'm not going to give him a pass because everybody at this point in the year is hurt. Everybody's rolled their ankle at some point. They got a toe issue. One of their fingers is dislocated. Like everybody has some sort of nagging injury at this point in the season, so I'm not going to give Jimmy Butler a pass for that. Ultimately, I think he ran out of gas. Okay, because in the Boston series, he had to be great every single second he was on the floor. And when you play as many games as Miami did, and you have to play like that, and the usage rate is as high as it was, up in the 30s, which is really high. Eventually, it wears on you, and I think that's especially when you're not used to it. I think that's ultimately what happened to Jimmy Butler. He just got worn down over the course of the playoffs, and sadly, the role players couldn't pick him up. But all-time stuff, what does this mean? What does this mean for Nikola Jokic? He's solidified himself amongst the greats. I've got a big thing coming out. Definitely going to be on a podcast. Going to put it on my Substack as well. Going to do probably a YouTube series on it. Doing this thing called the 1%. You'll need to subscribe to check that out. I think you're really going to enjoy it. But yeah, he is, solidified himself. He's probably, a top 20 player of all time right now. Probably sitting, around the Dirk Nowitzki, Kevin Garnett, that kind of space. Charles Barkley, kind of somewhere in that range is where I'd put him. I think Jimmy Butler's, probably like a top 100 player all time, probably somewhere in the 90s. If he can win a title, then obviously, that'll bump him up quite a bit, given what he's done in Miami. And, you're Denver, you try to bring everybody back. Obviously, the salary cap is going to make things, a little bit tougher with how they want to do that. If you're Miami, this has to be the offseason, right, where you take the big swing and you go get a second legit star. Okay, you make Bam Adebayo what he needs to be, and that is the third option. Whether that's Damian Lillard, maybe you make some other sort of trade. Maybe they just go get Fred VanVleet. Maybe, but I don't think that moves the needle quite enough. I think they need a guy like Damian Lillard. But, we know how Pat Riley is. He's going to make the right moves. But, yeah, I think that has to be the big swing for Miami. Because they need that second star. That's ultimately what they need. I feel like all the other pieces are there. Send Gabe Vincent and, Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero and, 4 picks for Damian Lillard. Give yourself 2 or 3 years to go out and try and win this elusive title. So, thank you so much for watching the video. If you've been following along through the entire playoffs, I especially want to thank you. The YouTube channel is really new. It kind of started when all the NBA playoff stuff started. So, if you've been watching me through all this, I greatly appreciate it. If this is your first time watching, I got more stuff coming. The NFL football season right around the corner. College football right around the corner. Baseball's going on right now. As I said, I've got this big 1% project thing that I'm working on that I think you guys are really going to enjoy. So we're going to keep the content rolling here on Shooting the Schmidt through the entire summer. Make sure you subscribe, like this video. Let me know your prediction for next year. Who do you like to win the NBA Finals? What are Denver's chances of repeating? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe, like, comment, and I'll talk to y'all again soon.